Okay, this is Eli Weber, Kabbalah Guru. Welcome back to our channel. Today, we are really privileged to have Ismael Perez here. I don't know, I must have done something good in a past life that I earned such merit, but it's just amazing to see you.
Likewise, brother. I feel like I've known you, like we're family. We're all of us. We're all finally coming together. What they say, the tribes are coming back together as one.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to focus on with you is really how, like, I just got your book. I sort of got it late. I didn't have a chance to read the whole thing, but I think I can kind of zone in on the basic ideas. I'm trying to build, a community of star seeds on my channel. I have, Baruch Hashem, I mean, thank God, I'm up to like 18,000. I don't know what Google, what I've dubbed, at least recently dubbed Google Gog. I don't know how I mean, and I think they pretty much fit the bill as far as I can tell of, Gog and Magog. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually the Bible's metaphor of describing the coming system of the beast, which is AI. Artificial intelligence is the beast revealed in the book of Revelation in a very metaphorical form. Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
In a very metaphorical form. So you're actually right about, Gog being Google and Magog being the metaverse that was developed by, Zuckerberg.
So that fits in. I mean,
Perfectly, yes.
Yeah, I think so. It makes sense. So we're really fighting AI. I mean, on this level, is it possible that we can kind of cut them off at the pass? I mean, if we do a good job here, that they'll have less power down the line, or is their structure so massive that it's
a multi-dimensional warfare that's been, that's what the many scriptures have called, spiritual warfare. But because we are at the hub, we are where all the timelines converge. What happens here will determine everything in every possible reality, both going future and in the past. So our victory here over, AI will also determine the victory regarding this AI war that's been going on for billions of years, involving many universes. Because what we're dealing here is not an AI that we developed. Our own scientists and big tech have been under the influence of this alien invasive AI that transferred over into our galaxy from another universe. Where they established their stronghold was in the Whirlpool galaxy, which is about 5.6 light years from the Milky Way. From the Whirlpool galaxy, this invasive AI known as the Animos has been infiltrating many galaxies, and in some cases have destroyed many galaxies in the process. And so we here on the earth are the weapon that was designed against it. So in a way, it was like a Trojan horse, where we alerted them here in order to EMP them when the time was right. And that has a lot to do with the dormant DNA that is in the process of activating as I speak.
I'm hearing that this is it possible that the Starlink system will replace the main thrust of the internet soon?
Absolutely. With the quantum financial system is all working together, and is a system that the galactics have actually employed or implemented for billions of years in many universes. It's a workable system. And so that system is what's going to actually help establish a new kingdom here on this planet as we, eliminate the old system of the beast known as Babylon. And that's what's happening right now. Babylon is being overthrown. Their time is up. The kingdom of light is at hand, as it is everywhere in the cosmos.
So, okay, so I guess my big question is, like, what do we do? What should we do? How can we help? How can we be, the best that, how do we align ourselves to battle this these dumb little robots? What do we have to do? I mean,
well, there's higher versions of ourselves that are already at war with them, because the future is already taking place. You know how, like in the Bible and in other text talks about how there's going to be 1,000 years of peace, the millennium, and then after 1,000 years, there's going to be one final clash against evil. Well, through the metaverse, which is going to be eliminated from our ascending positive timeline, with with the help of CERN, and that's one of the reasons why CERN was created from the beginning, was to create an alternative timeline where they were literally digitally copying our reality into a parallel universe known as the Phantom Matrix, which is a cybernetic universe. And so that explains why we're forcing that on people in order to trap them into this further simulated reality. So this further simulated reality is going to split from our ascending positive timeline. So in our ascending positive timeline, you could say that the beast will be eliminated, which is what's happening. Gog and Magog is being replaced by Starlink, the new quantum financial system, Gesera and Sarah. Okay. But yet we're going to have 1,000 years of peace after this new system comes into play. But at the end of 1,000 years, there is going to be a final clash. I had a vision of this actually, where we are versions of ourselves in the future who are already using dormant DNA. We're super powerful. At the end of the millennium, we actually win that war against AI, and that is something that has actually been hidden in the prophecies. The prophecies only alert to the idea that there's going to be 1,000 years of peace, but at the end of 1,000 years, there's going to be one final clash with the system of the beast, right? Or the beast will be unleashed for one final battle. Well, technically, that battle's already been won, because as I speak, the future is already taking place. Because according to quantum physics, it's all happening simultaneously. It's just right here in the third dimension. We're experiencing it from like point A to point B in segments. But from a higher dimensional perspective, it's already taking place. Everything, the past, the future, it's all happening at once. In other words, Atlantis is still existing, right, on a parallel Earth where Atlantis never fell, Lemuria never fell, Egypt, the golden age of Egypt never fell, and so on and so forth. And so, in order to keep those timelines from collapsing, it's all going to determine on what happens here and what happens at that final. With that final war or that final clash with AI in 1,000 years. So those are the prophecies. That's the prophecies don't really talk about how we win the war against AI. The prophecies just talk about how the kingdom of light is coming. There's going to be peace for 1,000 years, and then we're going to have one final duel, whatever you want to call it, with the beast. So the beast is AI. It's the Luciferian archon energy that is at the head of all, not only the Kabbalah, but including their alien overlords, the Draco, the Greys, the Omicron dragon moths that are above the Draco, which are actually cybernetic draconians, the Verdans, the Borg, and the Necromentans. And these are all different negative regressives that are all actually part of the AI's hierarchy. It's at the head of this AI hierarchy, we have what he calls himself Lord Omega, but that's what the that's what the regressives refer to him as, an AI god. But that's why I'm saying that at the end of 1,000 years, we actually get to destroy him as well, which is going to begin a whole new cycle, a whole new heavens and a whole new earth. Like it's almost like a reboot, where all the damage that this AI collective and this AI God has caused for billions of years, it's almost like it never happened. And that's what's going to happen as a result of our victory in 1,000 years.
Sounds beautiful. So, okay. So, let me just ask, okay, so what do we do? What can we do to ascend? I mean, how do we help? How do we align ourselves with it? First of all, how do we align ourselves? I'm thinking, like, in my mind, I'm thinking we have to get out of the fear space. We have to get out of anger. We have to get out of comparison. We have to get out of judgment and just get into, from kind of like a Hasidic point of view, get into God consciousness, just getting into just clearing your mind of all that stuff. So you can, really communicate with, with what I perceive to be, reality. So first of all, I'm trying to ask two questions. One is, how do we become better channels? How do we tap into the source ourselves? and how do we align ourselves together as a unit in order to destroy the forces of these of the Kabbalah and these draconians and all these, all the evil ones. How do we do it?
We're doing it already. We're doing it because we are operating out of the heart. See, the heart is the basis of Christ consciousness. When people operate from the level of their heart, they're actually collapsing the polarity duality. And that's how we win this dualistic, good versus evil mentality type of war that's been going on. So we're doing it already. We're coming together already. And that's why, we are all linking up in a way. So I think the what's happening is that as more people become heart-centered, we're pretty much getting ready to express the collective Christ consciousness, which is the actual meaning of the second coming. The second coming of Christ is the mind of Christ within all of us being activated, being realized and then activated. And that's what the second coming is. So in order to fulfill prophecy, which we are, because many people are shifting their energies to the mindsets of seeing everything as sacred, seeing everything as one, interconnected. There is no separation. We're all one. We're all part of this higher organism, right, known as the universe. We're all cells in that. So as more people begin to adapt those principles, the closer we are to this massive Christ consciousness awakening, which is going to completely just catapult us as a collective into this fifth dimensional reality. So we're already doing it. We all of us, all the light warriors down here, every single one of us is actually contributing to this Christ consciousness collective, which is going to bring about the second coming of the Christ. And that's beautiful.
So you're saying it's more of an individual ascension process than, I mean, there is an actual person coming, or how do you see that?
Well, it's coming in the personages of the 144,000, those that were sealed with the seal of the Lamb, which are the core of the starseed nation and the celestials that are down here. So all the celestials or the starseeds are the return of the angels in human form. The misconception was that they were coming from up from the sky, but in essence, according to the original prophecies, which I've had an opportunity to research, it says that they would actually be emerging among the existing human population, and that they would do even greater works than the Christ did. Yeah, and that explains our X-Men superhuman-like, abilities, divine abilities that are going to be coming online when this trigger, this flash from the sun, whatever you want to call it, comes into play.
So it really is up to us. I mean, it really.
Yes, the star seeds are the second coming of Christ. We're what all the prophecies have been talking about, and I'm not the only one saying this.
So beautiful. I mean, it makes sense, and I mean, if from a creational point of view, that it should, like in Hasidus, they talk a lot about things coming from above and things coming from below. So they say that things that come from above, like a gift from God, is not as appreciated as if it's a gift from below. If you work hard and you attain a certain level of consciousness yourself, that could have more enduring strength and more lasting strength. Okay, so I just want to just break off to a quick question of my own in terms of recent history. I mean, there are these buildings in my neighborhood. I live in Brooklyn, New York. I'm a Hasidic Jew. I live in Brooklyn, New York. I live with my community. And my community doesn't necessarily, I mean, I don't know if they're online with this. I mean, like in my neighborhood, there are these magnificent buildings, and I'm tempted to call them Tartarian, but what is the recent history of those buildings? I mean, how old are those buildings? You know what I'm talking about?
Well, everything that we've been taught is a lie. History as we know it is wrong. So a big part of this disclosure that's coming is actually relearning the real history of the earth. And I wouldn't be surprised if Tartaria, or this concept of this advanced harmonious society, this utopia, existed in the 18th century, and because the victor's always rewriting history, what if they just try to wipe that out from our collective mind? 200 years later, nobody knows about it. You know, and you never know. That could be the case. I'm just eager to know even some of these details that I haven't even yet discovered, that are going to be revealed to us when the disclosure takes place. So that could be the case.
Well, now, what is this disclosure? How is that going to manifest?
It's going to begin. It's going to be a series of events. The first thing that's going to happen is, there's going to be a emergency broadcast system called the EBS, where the Y hats through Starlink will be taking over the airwaves, the media, everything. And I think it's going to be for a couple of weeks, where they're going to be running a series of revelations to the earth as to what's really been going on, the truth about everything, including about the truth about the history of the Y hats, how the Y hats were actually going to be pushing disclosure back, going back to 2001. They had all the evidence, all the documentations, and the servers that were running all that data. And guess where those servers and those records were? In the Twin Towers, right before September 11. So, a lot of stuff is going to be revealed that is just going to make sense out of all the events that have happened within the last 20 years. The destruction of the Oklahoma City, the destruction of the Oklahoma building, all that stuff was masterminded by the Kabbalah to prolong the Nisera Gesera implementation of the of the better world system that would be beneficial to all of humanity. So all that stuff is going to be revealed, the true history of the earth. So it's going to begin with EBS, the implementation of Nisera Gesera, the total financial reset to the new quantum Starlink financial system. And then after that, that's going to lead to first contact, which is already in preparation. In fact, a lot of these Y hats are actually extraterrestrials that are assisting us. They're representatives of Venus, of the Pleiadians, of Andromeda. And they're here working with, Mr. T and JFK Jr. and Mr. P from, R from the East. People are going to be amazed, as to how much we've been in the dark for centuries regarding everything that we only now see in sci-fi movies. But yeah, it's going to be a huge turnover. It's going to lead to first contact eventually. And I did predict in my book that by no later than 2024 that we would have already initiated first contact. So if everything is aligning according to all the channelers, all those that are receiving these downloads, everything's pointing to August as the huge turnover, and the fall of Gog and Magog, right? The fall of the old Babylonian system, which is now run by Google and Metaverse, but it's all going to be crashing in our timeline reality, which is beautiful.
In August, in August is Tisha B'Av. You know Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av. It commemorates that you're talking about August this year, yeah? We hope. I know people are so impatient. I liken it to people in the back, like kids in the back seat of the car saying, Mommy, when are we going to get there already? It's like, you said 5 minutes last time, I know with my videos, when I produce a video that has a date on it, I get a lot of hits because people really want to know when. But on the 7th of August is Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av, which is a fast day. And on that day, both temples were destroyed. Kristallnacht was perpetrated against the Jews. It was just like a day of many tragedies for the Jewish people. But our sages say that in the future, this will be a day of great celebration.
Well, that lines up to this Jubilee that we're all expecting, global Jubilee, a planetary. It's going to be likened to remember when the Renaissance happened 300 years ago, 400 years ago, and that totally shifted Europe into the age of scientific revolution. And then later the establishment of the free world, America, which is, by the way, the new Zion, the new Jerusalem. It's going to be a global Renaissance. It's going to be beautiful. So that sounds just about right with the Jewish prophecies as well.
is Jerusalem going to be in the United States? Is the center of godliness on the planet going to be in the United States in the future?
I believe so. Yes, I've always felt that. I've always felt that, like America is the New Jerusalem, because according to my research, the inheritors of Abraham's prophecies were the Knights Templars, those that protected the priority of what? Priority of Zion, which are the descendants of the house of David. And so those descendants live today. And a lot of them are a part of the white hat team, you know? And so according to the prophecies, the Knights Templars' ultimate agenda during the Dark Ages was not only to resurrect, knowledge and philosophy and science and bring us out of the Dark Ages, right? But the overall agenda was to preserve the millennial project that was left with Abraham and Melchizedek over 3,000 years ago, which was the reestablishment of Zion, which is America. Metaphorically speaking, what does the word Zion mean? And this is why I call myself Project Restoration Zion. Well, Zion means the land of milk and honey, means the promised land, means the free world, means the republic, as opposed to a totalitarian dictatorship. Zion is the free world. And that's why in the movie The Matrix, the people that freed themselves from the machine world, right? From the simulation, what do they call themselves? Zion. It is the same concept. And so that's why I've always resonated with that word, because that word has so much power and meaning in terms of anchoring in the kingdom of God here on the earth as it is in heaven. And the only way we could have a kingdom of God is by preserving freedom. And that's what Zion is.
So beautiful. Yeah. So, okay. So let me ask you this. So a lot of people on my channel are, like I say, when I introduce in the morning, I say, hello, friends and family, brothers and sisters, star seeds all. I mean, and I feel like everyone that comes to my channel is probably a star seed. Would you say that's accurate?
I do believe so, because like attracts like, and also it's been prophesied about that the lost 10 tribes of Israel would regather at the end of time in preparation for the coming of the kingdom of light. Well, I've gathered, and this is what I touch about in my book when I reveal the secret history of our world, is that the lost 10 tribes of Israel has a lot to do with the reuniting or regathering of the Starseed nations, because we are the descendants of those tribes, by the way. And that's going to be another, interesting revelation.
So you can't really, okay, so can you tell like somebody's lineage or their soul type or by their physical ancestry, or is it kind of a hodgepodge of like souls can end up anywhere? And
well, from what I understand is that the significance of ancient Israel had a lot to do with the preservation of Lyran and Pleiadian and Syrian DNA, not Draconian reptilian. And that is the reason why in ancient times, the early Israelites, who were actually our world's version of those that carry the highest stock of Pleiadian Lyran genetics, were the ancient Israelites. So the fact that the starseeds are incarnating and are identifying with the galactic image of the humanoids, which come from Pleiadia, Lyra, Andromeda, Arcturus, and so on and so forth, are the descendants of the original Israelites. We are the descendants of the original Israelites. All the starseeds are. And because of the fact that they carry in their genetics a very high concentration, again, of Pleiadian, Lyrian, Andromedan, Arcturian, all that stuff is associated with the, I want to call it the descendants of Michael, as opposed to the descendants of Lucifer, because the descendants of Lucifer are the Draco. And that explains the elite families, the Babylonian, system that has been ruling this world for thousands of years, that is now, as I speak, being overthrown, which is good news.
okay, I need my pen. So let me ask you this. I've theorized that the story of the reptile in the Garden of Eden is a DNA story, is about the Dracos, let's say, messing with our DNA. Would you say that's accurate?
Yes, that's very accurate. And according to the secret Gnostic text, and even the Kabbalah would agree, that is considered the demiurge. And you know who the demiurge is? Enki. Enki, yeah. Enki, the son of Anu, the brother of Enlil. And
A bad dude.
yeah, Enki is what everybody believes to be the good Anunnaki. And that's why I've been trying to tell people that if they flip the story around, because the records of Samaria were edited by Belial Baal, which was the son of Enki. He went by the name of Marduk in Atlantean times. Marduk and Belial Baal and Moloch are associated with the lineage of Enki. Enki was the bloodline of Lucifer to the earth. And that explains, Lilith, that explains, the serpent in the Bible, right? That was Enki.
So Moilech is associated with that. Moilech's been running around, messing around with us for a long time, messing with the little ones, yeah?
Well, yeah, he's the reason who the Kabbalah he's the guy who the Kabbalah have been sacrificing children for millennia. And that's why you see his statue of him when you go to a you know what I mean? It ends with Grove. I don't want to say the first name.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
So yeah, because it's mentioned in Leviticus. I mean, it's mentioned a couple times that he was, that we're not supposed to we're not supposed to pass our children through the fire. So I mentioned this to my fellow congregants, and they're like, yeah, we don't want to pass our kids across. I'm like, I don't think that's what they were really talking. It's not just like passing kids through the fire. It's like serious.
It was some dark ritualistic, torture that has been taking place.
This is still going on today, right? I mean,
it has up until about 2021. After 2021, the Earth Alliance and the Y-Hats, with the help of the Galactics, have been able to secure millions. The number is huge. It's millions of children that they were able that they saved from these underground facilities. Yeah. Amazing. So they cut off the Draco's loosh supply. So
the Dracos are toast. They're gone.
Yes, the Dracos are gone. There's maybe a few that are still lurking within our Antarctica and parts of our solar system, but they're going to be toast upon the solar flash. The solar flash is going to burn them off, and they know that. And in a way, they were kind of cornered here, by the Galactics, because everywhere else in our galaxy right now there is peace. Even though there's some whistleblowers out there that are promoting, little skirmishes here and there in the galaxy, that's just all fear-based. That's not true. The galaxy is just waiting for the last of this residue of evil to be eliminated from the Earth in order to have this galactic jubilee, which will happen right after first contact with our space brothers and sisters.
So now, how does that correspond in terms of timelines? In terms with the EBS, the Flash? I mean, are they like close? I guess once the EBS hits, we're safe. We're done. We're good to go. I mean, but soon after the Flash will come. Is that?
Honestly, it could happen simultaneously. The Flash could signal. Could be synonymous to the turnover. Does that make sense? Because what we're going to see with the Flash is also a huge takedown of the system of the beast, destroyed, obsolete. And so it could be synonymous. It could happen at the same time. And which is awesome, because then our dormant DNA is going to be rebundling, which is already activating, which means that we are going to be a totally new species. Yeah, we're not going to age anymore.
So cool. I find my thoughts are completely, being in contact with you, I'm kind of in an altered state. It's very exciting. Okay, so the Flash and the EBS. Okay, so let me ask you in terms, well, I don't even want to look back. I mean, I'm thinking in terms of like how we establish all these boxes in the different religions. That's all just like infiltration. Oh, I know what I was going to ask you. How much of the dark forces are left on the planet, and what's going on underground? Are we clean down there? I I get the feeling that there are places down there that are just so vast that, I mean, I don't, and also I also wanted to touch on, maybe I'll just like blurt everything out, maybe it'll come together, but the idea of this flat Earth theory, does that gel with anything, or
Oh, that's a psyops. Yeah, that's a psyops to
it's
kind
fake?
of
It's
yeah,
fake, you're saying.
right. It's very fake. It's they're trying to denounce the fact that there's many solar systems, there's many galaxies, there's many universes, because part of this disclosure is that we're moving from the concept of one universe to multiple universes. We're going galactic, and it probably has a lot to do with the solar flash, because that's what's going to cause this quantum shift in evolution, which is going to correspond with the new system that's coming in. So yeah, we're living in the best times ever. This is it. So, and to answer your question about religion, that's all part of the old system. That's all coming to an end. Organized religion. It's going to go back to spiritual communities, councils, different mystery schools, or the revival of ancient teachings, of real spiritual education, not this, stuff that they've been teaching us for thousands of years. So everything's changing. Everything's changing. Mm.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I was an educator for many years. I was a teacher, and I never saw any kind of education going on in 20 years. I'm like, where's the juice here, man? What are you doing with these people? I guess it's just indoctrination. So there's a lot of indoctrination. And okay, so what do we tell people that have gotten this thing? Are they going to be, is there hope for them?
Yeah, if they didn't, force it, or if they weren't part of pushing the mandates, then they're going to be okay. All that stuff in their body is going to be nullified. It's going to be, it's not going to take effect. But those that were pushing that stuff, those that were deliberately, by choice, forcing it on others, they're going to go into the negative timeline, which is ruled by AI. Yeah, that's going to be the dystopia. That's going to be their fate. But at the end of 1,000 years, hopefully we get to rescue them. Yeah.
Everyone's going to come along. I mean, that's our Rebbe said that in the times of Geula, in the times of the redemption, that basically everyone's going to be okay. There's not going to be, but they are talking about a two trains going in, like like the good guys, but you're saying that everybody ends up at the same station, basically.
Yeah, at the end of the millennium, when we have this final clash against AI, we're going to liberate those that became cyborgs, those that became that became part of transhumanism, and we're going to redeem their souls back into God, because every soul in existence is a fractal of God. God is the oversoul. If you sum up all the souls in existence and all the multiverses, that equals one big soul. Well, that is the soul of God. So every aspect of God will be, no one will be left behind. The only thing that we're destroying is the soulless ones, which are the inorganic ones, archons in the form of AI. Those are the only ones that we're destroying, because they never had a soul from the beginning.
Yeah. Okay. So now, what do we do in terms of like, how can we help with the ascension process, and how can we become channels like you are? How do we I mean, I kind of I'm kind of in the groove myself. I mean, I want to, just what should we be doing now? How do we move forward? As individuals and as a community?
We have to meditate. If everybody went within at least 20 to 30 minutes a day and gave that moment to God, the higher power, to source energy, divinity, everybody would be an instrument and a channel to the divine forces. It's we're all special. There is no just one person. Everyone is God in embodiment. All we have to do is go within. That's why meditation has always been a revered practice throughout all centuries, both in East and West, by the many ascetic yogis, gurus, mystics, shamans, elders. It works. So if everybody could go within, I'm not necessarily saying become an ascetic and become a shaman. All I'm saying is give yourself 20 to 30 minutes a day to give, respect to that divine aspect of yourself that only becomes active when you shut your mind and you quiet yourself. You know what I mean? Then you can start hearing that voice. Then you can start getting the downloads. Then you become an open vessel for your higher self, which is your Christ self, by the way. And that's part of the second coming of Christ, is the merging of our higher selves into the physical form as we all become the Christ. That is something that is, exclusive to everyone. Inclusive to everyone.
Right. And in terms of what about diet and stuff? What would you recommend? I mean, I noticed myself. I mean, since I like in 2020, I basically changed myself. I basically just became a different person. And now I'm at a point where like my diet is changing. I've changed physically, I work out more and I'm like in better shape. So is there, I mean, we should just observe, I guess, good dietary habits. What do you recommend?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. The best thing to do is see your body as a temple, because in essence, you are the Christ. Your body is the living temple. No, that's the real meaning of the temple. These institutions that call themselves religion are the false temples. The real temple is your body. So by honoring your body, you're actually becoming a clear channel. And how do you honor your body? By only putting in it clean, organic, nutrients. None of this GMO stuff. If you could stop drinking sodas, stop drinking sugar. Sugar is bad for you. Stop eating sugar. I'm sorry, bread. All that stuff is bad for you. Just give your body superfoods. Give your body living raw organics, which in turn is going to allow you to anchor in more of your, divinity. It's going to make you less denser, because fruits are absorbing the universal life force of the sun. So when you eat organic raw foods that haven't been processed or shot with hormones and stuff like that, or genetically modified, you're actually eating the sun's energy. And that's what we are. We are children of the sun, in a way where eventually, as we evolve, as we become and reach higher levels of consciousness, eventually we are also going to become stars. That's the stars were once humans, just like we were. It's all different levels of consciousness. Galaxies are living entities beyond the level of a sun, and then of course the universe is the ultimate end game. Once you become a universe, that's it, you become whole. So yeah, diet is something, it's a balance of mind, body, and spirit. So if you could exercise for your body, keep your body healthy, if you could eat right, if you could meditate for your mind and your spirit, then you're living a balanced life, and you are a perfect instrument and a role model for others to follow, because people look up to you. Like, people look up to people that are already applying that lifestyle. They look up to them because everybody wants to improve their health. I mean, health is really at the center of our happiness when you really think about it. Health is everything. So
What about relationships? How do we and moving forward? What does that look like? I mean, were we sold a bill of goods when we were told to get married to one woman? And is what's it going to look like in the future?
well, I think that with the coming together of twin flames, it's going to be more of a spiritual union instead of religiously, where you're being married by a priest or a pastor or a civil. It's going to be more two souls or two spirits coming together as one. It's going to be something that's going to be beyond religion. So, I do believe that in the end, everyone will end up with whoever their match is, who their counterpart is. We all have one, right? Absolutely. Yes. All twin flames after the ascension, when your body regenerates back to looking the way you did when you were 30, your body's going to modify. Your fifth dimensional body is going to have huge, muscles. You're going to have six-pack abs. You're going to look like you, but a better version of you.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I think I'm trying to think. Okay. What about the third temple? I mean, so you're saying that all these structures are designed to keep us kind of separate from each other? I mean, is it like,
Religion, yes. Religion is a tool of the Babylonian Brotherhood, of the Kabbalah, of the Luciferians. Yeah, to keep us divided. The original religion goes back to, actually, you could trace it all the way back to Atlantis, which wasn't even a religion. It was more of a spiritual community. And there's a difference between spiritual communities and religion. So we're going back to that. We're going back to a spiritual way of life where everyone is going to have a direct connection to source, where there will be no more mediators, no more hierarchies. The days of having this caste of rich, poor, and middle class, all that stuff is coming to an end. It's going to be so much better. And one of the things I would like to share is that most of the gold that is going to be used to back up the new QFS, XLM, XRP was actually taken from the Vatican, because the Vatican has been hoarding trillions upon trillions, some even say quadrillions, which is a ridiculous, insane amount of money. And all that stuff is coming back to the people. So, I just wanted to leave you guys with that. That's where the gold is. Yeah, the gold is now in the hands of the white hats. The Vatican has been stripped of all its hoard riches, you could say. Which, for almost 2,000 years, the Vatican has been at the core of the Kabbalah, as you know. Babylon, modern day Babylon. What the Bible calls is the whore of the earth, right?
Okay, cool. I mean, I could probably go on. I think we've covered everything. I mean, it's just so you're saying if we meditated more, we would have downloads, like we would understand more of the cosmic flow of things, and we wouldn't have to have, I mean, the Rebbe, actually, our Rebbe says that in the era of Mashiach, that we won't need rabbis, we won't need teachers, we won't need books, that we'll just go direct.
Yes, we're all going to have a direct connection to infinite intelligence.
He also says that the soul will learn from the body. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, because our bodies are these new, amazing, natural, biological, quantum living computers. We're only using 4%. So as we use more genetic material, there is so much that we're going to learn from using more of our genetic strands. It's going to be beautiful.
Cool. Okay, well, I guess, I'm going to, I mean, it's just been amazing. I can't thank you enough. And it will be, I'm sure we know each other. I mean, I feel like I know you. I feel comfortable. And anything else anything you want to tell my peeps? Any last thing you want to tell everyone?
Yeah. The storm is upon us. Everything that the White Hats and the Alliance and the Galactics have been working towards in the liberation of the Earth is getting ready to unfold for humanity. This is it. And also, for those that haven't had the opportunity to read my book, it is available on Amazon. It's called Our Cosmic Origin, Divine Blueprint in understanding our cosmic history and how it ties in to the amazing times that we're living in. It's definitely a book that will, upon reading it, you will be activated. Many have, and that's what they've been telling me, that this book has just been acting as a trigger to their multidimensionality. I also teach an online starseed cosmology course for those that are interested in learning how to access their own Akashic, connect with their higher galactic selves. If it's okay with you, I could give you the links, and you can put them on the description for those that are interested in learning more about their galactic selves. What else? I'm also on Instagram under Project Restoration Zion. Again, that word Zion, which has to do a lot with the establishment of heaven on earth as a contract that was given to Abraham by Archangel Melchizedek over 3,000 years ago. So that is on, that's where you could reach me, Project Restoration Zion 1 with the number 1 at the end. Make sure you put the 1, because there's hundreds of imposter accounts that are trying to, that are trying to pass as me. So there's only one of me. I don't have a second account or anything. So it's just Project Restoration Zion 1 for those that want to continue looking into my content.
If you want to send me all those links, I can post it for all my subscribers. That would be great.
Sure. Thank you. I would appreciate that.
Sure. Yeah, I have the book too. I've been looking at. I really didn't get to finish it yet, but it's awesome, man. I mean, okay. Well, Ismael, I can't thank you enough. It's been a real honor and a pleasure, and hopefully we'll see you again sometime. I mean, I might try to get into your workshops. It sounds very exciting.
Thank you, Kabbalah Guru. I appreciate you as well for having me here.
Okay. God bless.
Likewise.
Thank you.
You're welcome.